Germany has produced some of the greatest football teams the world has ever seen. 4 men's World Cup titles, 3 European Championship victories, legendary clubs like Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, and generations of players who became icons of the beautiful game. But German football wasn't always a powerhouse. Its journey began with a foreign game that slowly found a home in German schools, cities, and working-class communities. So how did football transform Germany into one of the most successful football nations on earth? This is the history of football in Germany. Football began spreading through Germany during the late 19th century. The game was introduced largely through British influence, with English teachers, students, businessmen, and expatriates helping bring association football to German communities. One of the most important figures in the early history of German football was Konrad Koch, a schoolteacher in Braunschweig. In 1874, Koch introduced a form of football to his students at the Martino-Catherineum school. At first, football faced resistance. Germany already had its own traditions of physical education and gymnastics, known as Turnen. Some Germans viewed football as a foreign sport, but young people embraced it. Clubs began appearing in cities across the country, and the sport gradually developed its own German identity. By the end of the 19th century, football was no longer simply an English import. It was becoming a German game. As more clubs appeared, the need for a national organization became obvious. In 1900, representatives from German football clubs gathered in Leipzig and founded the German Football Association, known as the DFB. The organization helped standardize the rules and coordinate football across the country. Germany soon became part of international football. The national team played its first official international match in 1908 against Switzerland. The result? A 5-3 defeat. It wasn't exactly a dream beginning, but the foundations had been established. German clubs continued to grow, regional competitions became more organized, and football attracted supporters from different social classes. After the First World War, football's popularity exploded. Industrial cities became football centers. Workers formed clubs, stadiums grew larger, and fierce local rivalries began developing. Clubs such as Schalke 04, Hamburg, Nuremberg, and Bayern Munich would eventually become giants of German football. But the country's football journey would soon be interrupted by one of the darkest periods in German history. And when football returned after the Second World War, Germany would be divided into 2 nations, with 2 different football systems. When the Second World War ended in 1945, Germany was devastated. The country was divided into occupation zones and eventually into 2 separate states, West Germany and East Germany. Football was affected by the political division. Clubs were reorganized, competitions were rebuilt, and both countries developed their own national teams. But in the West, something extraordinary was about to happen. In 1954, West Germany qualified for the FIFA World Cup in Switzerland. Nobody expected them to win. The tournament was dominated by Hungary, an extraordinary team that had gone undefeated for years. And Hungary had already defeated West Germany 8-3 in the group stage. The Germans seemed outmatched. But they had not given up. West Germany reached the final. Their opponent? Hungary. The match was played in pouring rain at the Wankdorf Stadium in Bern. Hungary scored twice within the opening 8 minutes. Germany responded quickly. By halftime, the score was 2-2. Then, in the final minutes, German forward Helmut Rahn received the ball and fired a low shot into the net. 3-2. The final whistle confirmed one of the greatest upsets in World Cup history. West Germany were world champions. The victory became known as the Miracle of Bern. It was more than a football victory. For many Germans, it represented a powerful symbol of recovery and renewed national confidence after the devastation of the war. Despite the national team's success, German club football remained fragmented. The country had numerous regional leagues, but no unified national professional competition. That changed in 1963. The DFB created the Bundesliga, bringing Germany's leading clubs together in a single national league. 16 teams competed in the inaugural season. First, CF Köln became the first Bundesliga champions. The new league created a more professional structure and gave German clubs a stronger platform to develop players. And one club would eventually dominate that new era: Bayern Munich. At the time, Bayern was not yet the giant we know today. But with players such as Franz Beckenbauer, Gerd Müller, and Sepp Maier, the club would soon transform both German and European football. Meanwhile, West Germany's national team was entering its greatest period yet. By the 1970s, West Germany had become one of the most feared football nations in the world. At the heart of the team was a player who would become one of football's greatest legends, Franz Beckenbauer. Nicknamed Der Kaiser, Beckenbauer revolutionized the role of the defender. He wasn't simply a player who stopped attacks. He could carry the ball forward, dictate play, and create opportunities. Alongside him were stars like Gerd Müller, Sepp Maier, and Paul Breitner. At club level, Bayern Munich was becoming a European powerhouse. The club won the European Cup 3 consecutive times between 1974 and 1976. German football had reached the summit of European football, but the biggest prize was still waiting. In 1974, West Germany hosted the FIFA World Cup, and once again, they reached the final. Their opponent was the Netherlands, led by the brilliant Johan Cruyff and their revolutionary total football system. The Dutch scored first, but West Germany responded. Goals from Paul Breitner and Gerd Müller completed the comeback. West Germany won 2-1. Beckenbauer lifted the World Cup trophy as captain. Germany had now won 2 World Cups in 20 years, but across the Iron Curtain, East Germany was writing its own football history. In the 1974 World Cup, East Germany famously defeated West Germany 1-0 in their only competitive meeting. East Germany reached the second round, while West Germany eventually won the tournament. For decades, the two German nations existed separately. Then, in 1990, everything changed. In 1990, West Germany reached another World Cup final. Their opponent was Argentina. The match was tense, physical, and tightly contested. With just minutes remaining, West Germany were awarded a penalty. Andreas Brehme stepped forward. He converted. West Germany won 1-0 and became world champions for the third time. Captain Lothar Matthäus lifted the trophy. Just months later, Germany was reunified. East and West Germany officially became one country in October 1990. The unified nation also inherited a new football landscape. East German clubs joined the German league system, while players from the former East became eligible to represent the unified German national team. A new chapter had begun, and German football was about to enter another period of transformation. After reunification, German football continued to evolve. The national team remained competitive, reaching the 1994 and 1998 World Cup quarterfinals before making the final of the 2002 World Cup. But a major transformation was already underway. Following disappointing performances at Euro 2000 and Euro 2004, Germany invested heavily in youth development. The country's football academy system was rebuilt. Clubs developed modern training centers. Young players were encouraged to become technically skilled rather than relying purely on physical strength. The results were extraordinary. Players such as Philipp Lahm, Bastian Schweinsteiger, Thomas Müller, Mesut Özil, and Miroslav Klose became the faces of a new German generation. Germany reached the semi-finals of the 2010 World Cup.
4 years later, they went all the way. At the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, Germany produced one of the most shocking matches in football history. In the semi-final, they faced the hosts, Brazil. What happened next was almost unbelievable. Germany scored 5 goals in just 29 minutes. Brazil were destroyed 7-1. Germany reached the final where they faced Argentina. After 90 minutes, the score was still 0-0. Then in extra time, Mario Götze controlled a cross and fired the ball into the net. 1-0 Germany. Germany were world champions for the 4th time. They had waited 24 years for another World Cup trophy. And this time, They had won it as a unified nation. While Germany dominated international football, Bayern Munich continued to dominate domestically. The club became the defining force of the Bundesliga, winning championship after championship and developing into one of the world's richest and most successful football institutions. In 2013, Bayern completed a historic treble of the Bundesliga, DFB Pokal, and Champions League. They repeated the treble in 2020, becoming the first German club to win the Champions League twice in the modern era. The Bundesliga also became famous for its passionate supporters, affordable ticket prices, modern stadiums, and emphasis on youth development. Germany's women have also built an extraordinary legacy. The German women's national team has won the FIFA Women's World Cup twice and dominated European football, winning the UEFA Women's European Championship a record number of times. Stars such as Birgit Prinz, Maren Meinert, and Marta? Wait, Marta is Brazilian, not German. Germany's women's success helped establish the country as one of the world's leading football nations on both the men's and women's sides. From the miracle of Bern to the 2014 World Cup, German football has always been built on resilience, organization, and reinvention. And that is what makes Germany's football story so remarkable. Germany's football story is much bigger than its trophies. It's a story of rebuilding after war, overcoming division, developing young talent, and constantly reinventing the game. From the miracle of Bern in 1954 to the triumph of 1974, reunification in 1990, and the unforgettable 2014 World Cup victory, German football has repeatedly found a way to rise again. And with powerful clubs, world-class academies, passionate supporters, and a proud football culture, Germany remains one of the most influential nations in the history of the sport. From the streets of 19th century Germany to the world's biggest stadiums, this is the story of German football. If you enjoyed the journey, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments, who is the greatest German footballer of all time? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
In the morning, I wake up feeling no pain. Long stretches, I get to remember